When it comes to taking care of our health, ladies, of our nutritional needs, of our fitness needs, our mental well being, anything having to do with taking care of ourselves, how many times have we said we just don't have the time? Well, today's episode is going to address this in a way that probably maybe something you have never thought about. And I really do hope that you're going to take away something from this episode that is going to be life changing, because we can talk about time management all day long. We can talk about to-do list and planners and scheduling and time blocking and all the tools for time management. But until you learn this skill, nothing's going to change. So I'm excited for this episode. I brought on my guest, Jen Lemke. She is a coach in this area of success and an NLP certified coach. I'm going to let her tell you all about what she does and give you some helpful insight that's going to change you. It's going to change your life if you apply it. And I'm super excited. I had such a great time recording this episode with Jen. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Well, hello, Jen. Jen Lemke, so excited to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to be a part of. Yes, absolutely. It's been a minute. It's funny when we first got to know each other, and I know you have so much to offer and share and help women, especially in the capacity of how we take care of ourselves and prioritizing our health and our fitness. But I'm very picky about who I bring on the podcast. I'm telling my listeners right now. So I just want y'all to know, I don't just bring anybody on. And Jen has definitely, she's like on here because
selected. I feel so, I am worthy.
Oh, exactly.
I love it.
So anyway, Jen, I'm just so happy and excited that you're here. I just know that the things that we're going to talk about on here today are going to be so super helpful and valuable to my listeners and to all of the Rockstar clients in Rock That Fitness. So everyone, this is Jen Lemke, a dear friend of mine here in the field of mindset coaching, behavior change, that sort of thing. And Jen is a certified success coach.
Yes.
Did I say that right? I'm going to let you totally tell what you do. NLP certified, all these fancy things. But truly, you're amazing at what you do. And I met you. I met you a long time ago online. I think we did through some kind of networking thing, but then I got to meet you in person this past December at at BBD Live, right? Business by Design. So that was really fun. So anyways, I am just going to give you back the mic and let you tell us a little bit about you. Like, who are you? You're married, you have a family, you have kids. What do you do? And yeah, you go, girl.
Where did you come from?
What are you talking about? Yeah, where did you come from?
All right. My name is Jen Lemke. I'm a certified success coach and NLP practitioner, and I help online business owners build business easier. It's a really short way to say it. But what's I shouldn't say cool, but what's interesting about my story is it actually started in health and fitness. And that's kind of why I was drawn to you, is because I get it. And I'll talk about what NLP is and all that stuff. But first, if we were to scroll back a little bit into where I came from, I was an esthetician for 13 years. I don't know if you knew this about me. I did facials. I did laser hair removal. I did assisted in liposuction, Botox, hair transplants, all that thing. It's so crazy that that's even still a thing. But anyway, I was working at a doctor's office. I did treatments for varicose veins. I was his assistant. And I was also I've always been into health and fitness. That's just who I was. And so I was starting to work out from home, and I found my girlfriend was working out online, and she's like, do you want to work out online with me? I'm like, I don't know what that means, but sure. And then one thing leads to another. And now I'm selling fitness products for a network marketing company. I'm like, I don't even know what is happening. I don't understand. But I had absolutely no intention of it actually being a thing. But I just know that I felt really, really good. And I needed every single person to know what I was doing because I felt amazing. I lost like 13 pounds and 13 inches in 8 weeks. And it was crazy. So fast forward, I woke up pregnant one day. Funny how that happens. And
Just
my
suddenly.
so weird. My then boyfriend, now husband, and I decided it would make the most sense to retire from aesthetics. My job was an hour away from home. And what I actually really wanted is I wanted to do the fitness network marketing thing from home. I saw like all the bells and whistles. I saw a top 10 and the top 1% of the company. And I just wanted to do that work at home, stay at home mom life,
Yeah.
slinging fitness products. And so funny thing is that I was so like, when you're in that space, like it is so, it's like, I don't want to say thrown down your throat because that's not really, that sounds really bad, but I got so into personal development because I had never been into personal development, and reading it made me feel so good. And
Yeah.
so I was killing it in fitness. I was killing it in my mindset. It's like I was listening to the podcast. I was reading all the books. I was highlighting the things. I was going to all the events. I was like doing the rah-rah. I was dialed in. I drank the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And then when it came to my clients, I was like, I'm like, how is it that two people want very similar things? They'll both get the thing from me. One person will start and run with it, and the other person won't even open the box. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what is it between these two people that is making one super successful and the other one is just like, it just can't even get started?
Yeah.
And I'm like so into mindset. I'm like, it's got to be this, it's got to be that. And it was none of those things.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was on a late night breastfeeding session, and I discovered NLP, neuro linguistic programming. And it was like brain candy for my mind and mindset on steroids. I'm like, I could not get the information fast enough. I was
Oh, I love that. I
a
can understand.
scrounging. Oh my God, I was obsessed. And it was just like, it was filling the gap and where, what I wanted to help my clients with. And so I was learning all things. I got certified. I did all that stuff. And then I was still doing the fitness thing. I kind of just went a different way with business owners, but I can still understand like why people do the things that they do. And like
Mm-hmm.
human behavior is so interesting to me. And what you think is the actual problem most likely isn't even the problem. And I
Yeah.
see it with my business owner clients all the time. It's like they think they need more followers. They think they need more sales. They think they need all this stuff. And it's like, but if your mindset is built on quicksand, you could have all those things, you could have all those
Yeah.
strategies, you could have, but you're still going to sink. And
Yes.
so what
Yes.
I learned is that filling in those gaps makes the most sense, because then you're building a foundation
Mm-hmm.
on concrete, so that when you go to do all those things, when you go to do, the workout and all the kind of stuff, you actually get the results that you want
Yeah.
versus quitting, giving up, not getting the results, or whatever the heck it is.
Right.
So,
Yeah. I mean, I'm totally on board with that. I feel the same. Like I love, love, love personal development, self-growth, the mind and how it's all scientific and it does like for me and my own experience and what I coach our women and Rock That Fitness about mindset, because without changing what's going on up here in our thought processes and our thought patterns, then you can have the best program, you can have the best nutrition program, the best fitness program, but nothing's going to be sustainable and you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to get the results if you don't work on this mindset stuff. So this is exciting. I'm excited to talk and get some deep, get into some deep conversation about this, because this is the stuff that matters. This is the stuff that changes our life. So do you mind if you could just give us a definition of what NLP practitioner really means? What do you do with that?
So neuro-linguistic program. Neuro is the brain. Linguistic
Mm-hmm.
is the language that you use, and programming is how it's programmed into your mind. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like, I've heard it referred as like the lost user's manual for the mind. Or if you've got a computer and you're taking off the back of the computer and you're rewiring it so that it
Yeah.
works differently. So it's like you're upgrading from an iPhone 1 to an iPhone 15.
Right.
And so I'm
Okay.
able to get into the bells, and I shouldn't say bells and whistles, like nuts and bolts of why you do the things that you do,
Mm-hmm.
and rewire them so that you start getting the results that you want versus the
Yeah.
results that you're getting.
Right. Right. Yeah. Makes total sense. And so what I wanted to talk about today, because one of the things that I see a lot, well, there's two things. One, what you said, that wasn't even the direction I wanted to go. But let's just be clear. The whole thing about the word mindset, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's too much. There's no definition for that. There's like a lot of stuff going on here. So what I wanted to do was kind of like just like focus in on one piece having to do with quote unquote time management and our schedule and that kind of thing. It kind of takes me back sometimes when I think about prioritizing what I'm doing, what I'm saying yes to, what I'm saying no to back when I was a young mom. And I remember vividly when I had my first child, when I realized, I don't even know how, but on my own, I was like, it seems so elementary, but at the time I was like, wow, I need to learn to say no to things so I can manage my time. you know but even as we're aging and women over 40, 50, we are still, a lot of women, most women are having challenges when it comes to what we call managing our time, prioritizing what's important for our health and our fitness. And so same thing, what you just said a moment ago, somebody saying, I'm going to do this, they get excited, they get pumped up about it, they start doing the workouts, they start doing their nutrition, but then something happens and they don't follow through. Now they're beating themselves up and they're like, why do I keep on doing this? I don't want to do this. I say I'm going to do this and then I do it for a while, but then I keep not doing it.
Mhm.
Now, some of that, we can talk about time management. We can talk about scheduling, time blocking, all these things that we could do. But this is probably one of the big things we should probably kind of focus in on for this conversation to help women. What do you think?
Because is it actually that you need another tool to help you manage time? Is it that you need another something or another that to help you make different choices? Or is it that you have already inside of you and you just need to tweak how you see it? Because those are two different
Absolutely.
things. You can give
Yeah.
somebody any tool on the face of the earth and they may or may not use it.
Mhm.
But the thing that makes it stick is changing the root and pulling out the root of why it's happening in the first place. And
Yeah.
you're likely not gonna get that with another tool. So is it actually
Right.
about time? Now,
Right.
would you say your clients, they mostly struggle with finding the time to work out? Is that right?
I honestly, I it could be some of our clients, it could just be people that I talk to online, potential clients. And that is one of the things they say is, I don't have time, And so that's why I'm like, well, let's talk about this. Those are two things, saying I don't have the time, which is a limiting belief, and or I keep on doing this and I'm not sticking with it. That's the number one thing. The
Mhm.
number one struggle and obstacle that women are having is, I'm not able to stay consistent. Over and
Mhm.
over and over, that's what I get whenever I talk to a new client or somebody who wants to do something to change their health and their fitness. They want to do it, but they're not being consistent. And there's a
Mhm.
lot in this. Like, I know that this isn't just like we're gonna, change the world and tell you all the answers in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I came to you going, you know what? Let's just have an honest conversation about the struggles that women have, because I think there's a lot. I don't know what we want to really hone in on, but when I think about a lot of our clients, it's saying no, because they feel like, naturally women are nurturing and they say yes to a lot of things. And so this is where they feel like, gosh, I don't have time because I'm taking care of the family. I'm working full time, and then I'm being asked to do things and I don't want to say no because that's what is, I'm here for my friends, I'm here for my people.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the deeper issue
Mhm.
that will
So
help women understand what's really happening. It's not
mhm.
just have boundaries, say no. It's deeper than that. And I want to talk about that.
Well, what's interesting is that you can put two people together and they both have the same amount of work on their plate. They've got the same amount of kids, they've got the same exact job. And how is it that one person can find the time and the other person can't? And
This,
what I've learned is that it has nothing to do about the actual time, about what you
this,
do or not have, but it's about how you're valuing what it is that you want. So one of the things
this,
that I start with when I'm coaching my own clients is we start on what I call my an alignment code. And it's like, what do you want in the context of health and fitness? And is why is that important to you?
Mm-hmm.
And after you figure out what it does for you when you actually have it, then you can start putting these things in a hierarchy. And so maybe you're not valuing health and fitness and it's not at the top. Maybe you're not valuing healthy food. Maybe you're not valuing your time. Maybe you're not valuing all these things, but you're never going to understand that until you elicit what's most important to you in the context of health and fitness. And so when I do this with my clients, it's like they're like, oh my God, how did I not know this? And that one of the things that's interesting is that when you start to value the specific thing that you want, so maybe what's something that your clients want? What's like the biggest thing that they want?
They want
Is it
fat loss.
fat loss? If
That's
you're
one of the
not
big ones.
valuing fat loss over everything else, of course it makes sense as to why you're not doing the thing. Of course it makes sense why you're putting other things in front of it. Of course it makes sense why you're saying yes to things when you should be saying no. But when your values are in alignment with who you are to your core, that's the difference it makes. That's the motivation that you have. That's when you stop stopping all the time and you just go. And
Yeah.
that's when like you've got this like invisible cape and you're like, whoa, why am I doing all these things? I never did these before. And you like just become a whole new person because now you're in alignment with what it is you say you want. But until
Right.
that, you're looking for timers, you're looking for this, you're looking for all these outside resources. But what
Yes.
people don't
Okay.
understand is
Yeah.
they actually have it already inside them. They just have to
Mm-hmm.
know what their values are. When you figure out what your values are, you have to put them in a hierarchy so that it'll be in alignment with what it is you say you want. And the
Yeah.
way to figure out one of your biggest limiting beliefs is, what is it that you want? What is it going to do for you when you have it? And why don't you have it yet? And when
Yeah.
you figure out why you don't have it yet, boom, that's your biggest block that you have to overcome. And it's not as hard as it sounds. It's just putting a spotlight on what it is that's blocking you.
So what do you say to the woman that says, no, I really do want fat loss? Because it's like stepping on toes. No, you don't. It's not valuing it if you're not taking action in that direction, right?
Well, in the context of health and fitness, what I would say is, someone says they want fat loss. Okay, well then what's fat loss going to do for you? What do
Right.
you
Well, it's
have?
going to be
What do
individual
you
for
have?
everybody. It's going to be it's going to be specific to the person.
Yeah.
Some
So
women,
let's go
yeah.
back and forth. So if
Okay.
you're coming to me and you want fat loss, I'm going to say, Anna, what's important to you about fat loss?
Okay. I'm just going to pretend I'm going to be a mock person. I'm going to be a
Yeah,
mock client. Okay.
mock Anna.
Yeah. So, well, I want to lose this fat because this summer I want to wear short shorts. I want to wear tank tops. I want to feel comfortable in my body, especially if I'm around. I'm around like my kids and their friends and the games, going to the games and it's hot. I don't want to be covered up. I want to be cool and feel good about myself. So yeah, I'm tired of covering up my body and feeling ashamed and embarrassed in my body. I want to be
Okay.
able to wear whatever I want.
So that in that 40-second stint that you gave me, what I heard is your value is comfort.
Ooh,
And when you
nice.
have comfort, what is comfort going to do for you? What's important to you about that?
Freedom.
Okay. So when you just jumped to like one of the highest values, by the way. You're like from 0 to 60. Of course, Anna Rockstar is going to go from 0 to 60. Usually it's not this easy. So when you are going after your fitness goals, it's not that you just want fat loss. Your ultimate goal is freedom. And when you
Yeah.
start doing the things like doing the nutrition, all those things, you realize that ultimately it's going to satisfy your highest value, which is freedom. Okay. So that's when you think about it differently.
What if somebody says, "Oh, because what it's going to give me is I'm going to look great. I'm going to feel I'm going to what am I thinking? Like I'm going to feel good
Confident.
about my body, confident in my body."
What
Would
does
that be
confidence give
an
you?
answer?
Confidence is a value. It's not a
But
very
see,
good
I think it
value.
all leads up to freedom personally. So it's hard for me to
For
think that
some
way. Like,
people, yeah,
you
for some
know,
people it does. But for what's important to you about having what do you say confidence? Why is
confidence.
confidence important?
Well, because another person might say, what's important to me is losing the fat because I want to be healthy. I'm getting older and I know this is like my blood pressure, my cardiovascular system, my heart, all these things could be the driver.
And
I'm
what
just
does being healthy do for you?
allow being, spending more time being more active with the people that I love, hiking, that kind of stuff,
And when you have
walking.
that, what does that do for you?
Okay, joy
Ah,
of being with the people.
amazing. Okay, so we've got 3 of your values.
Good.
We've got health, joy, and comfort. And so when I work with my clients, I've got like about 10
I love this so much.
lists of different
Yeah.
values. And then we put them in an order to what's most important versus what's least important. And it's still an important value. It makes you do the things that you do. It still lights you up. So say, for instance, someone says, okay, if I'm going to give you joy, freedom, connection, love, authenticity, adventure, and happiness all on a platter, you're going to be like, oh, that is like the best dessert ever. Like, give me more of that. Like, I want that.
Yeah.
And you want all of it, but then what you have to do is you have to put it in order of importance so that when you're going to do the thing, it gives you that automatically. Does that make sense?
So what do you mean it gives you those things because you know that what you're doing is in alignment
Exactly.
with your ultimate desire and your goal?
With your goal, with your outcome. That's exactly what it
So
is.
do you think that's pretty much across the board? Somebody who is not taking consistent action towards their goal, their desired outcome, that person just needs to evaluate their value. They need to take a step back and they need to see what are they actually valuing.
Yes.
Okay.
There is no yes.
What would be
but it's just yes. When you know these core values
That's true.
of who
Yeah.
you are as a person, it's like a magnet to getting
Mhm.
you what you want, what you say you want, when you know what it
Right.
does for you when you have it.
Right. So I'm going to do a little flashback to pre-transformation person.
Mhm.
Okay. Where almost every weekend I was out, you want to call it partying, not every weekend, but a lot of weekends, drinking with my friends, having a great time, staying out late, dancing, eating. That's obviously what I was valuing, was that social connection. And even though I was not happy with my body, I was overweight, I was not healthy, but I was working all the time. I was tired, I was fatigued. But to me, that weekend out was like, I felt like that's my relief. Like, I've been working all week, working hard, taking care of the family. This is my girls' night out, right?
Because you
So,
value connection and love.
yeah, right. So, what happens when somebody recognizes that? What do they need to do at that point? Because they're not going to get cut off that love and connection with your friends that are, I mean, you can. I mean, I did. I don't
You
do
just
that
make it look
anymore.
different,
It's going to
and
look different.
for somebody that has a value of, or like, let's say someone that's got a goal of X amount of fat loss pounds. Is that a thing? I don't know. But they still have all these other things. They've got work, they've got friends, they've got all these other things. No one says that you have to give all that up. It's just going to look differently because you've got a specific thing you're working towards now.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
no one says you got to cut all the rest of it off.
Right.
It's just going to work differently. And so when people learn what their alignment code is and reorder it so that it is in alignment with what it is you say you want, it's literally like light bulb moment. People are like, take my money, whatever. Like,
It's an alignment.
like
They have to believe it, though. Like, they have to.
Yeah, because people don't, like, this isn't normal talk for, like, going out with your girlfriends over, wine and sushi or whatever. No one talks about values, but it's the thing that keeps people from doing what it is they actually want, is because they're just not in alignment. It's just not in alignment.
Yeah.
And you don't realize it unless you do this type of inner work.
Right. And there are people that don't even want to do the inner work because they feel like that's not, like, it's hard work,
It is.
To me, this is the stuff that I get really excited about, because to me, this is freedom. This is learning what the heck is driving me. How am I wired? Why am I programmed this way? And what do I need to do differently so that I can live the life that I desire?
Mhm.
Really,
Yeah.
ultimately.
Yeah.
but it's not something that happens overnight, Jen. Like this is a continued process of evaluating what you value, right? Like looking at it, assessing what's going on, what's happening. Like what you just said for me, it didn't happen overnight. It wasn't like I'm going to change my whole every weekend. I'm never going to be out with my friends and doing girls' night out and drinking and eating all that stuff anymore. It wasn't like that.
Mhm. Yeah.
For me, as I was valuing my health and my fitness, my physique, I realized during that process that going out every weekend was not serving my goals.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would cut out. I'd be like, okay, instead of going out, four weekends a month, I'm just going to start going out 3. And then it was 2. And then it came down to, I'm only doing it once a month. Like
Yeah.
that's how it worked for me slowly over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm. There's some things too. Like I used to have a client that was looking to, I don't remember exactly what it was, but let's say she wanted to lose like 75 pounds or something like that. And she kept starting and stopping and starting and stopping. And we did this work, but then she also had a story of when she was young. People told her that she was overweight, that she would never be good enough. And if she loses weight, she also had a limiting belief, like if I lose weight, my husband will, because her husband was overweight too. If I lose weight, my husband will leave me because now I'm the thinner one out of both of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's another road that we go down is like, if you want to lose weight, but your husband is worried about what's going to happen if you do, like you're going to leave, that's inner conflict. And that's another thing that's going to stop you from doing the thing, is because it's like part of you wants this, part of you wants this.
Right.
And then when you get those two parts in alignment and they start acting as a whole person again, it's just two parts of you that have just been like disconnected from like what the common goal is. And so when we can get these two parts connected again and dissolve that inner conflict, that's a lot of the things I see too. It's just like, it just feels like part of you wants one thing, part of you wants another thing. And then you dissolve that inner conflict and it's just like, okay, now it's go time. And that's another thing that just keeps people all tripped up, is because they've got all this inner conflict that's going on from past experiences, events that have happened in the past, things that they have been told, the beliefs that they have. And when you start to unravel this, it's just like, oh, when you say that, this stuff is hard, it's just like, or I don't think you said hard, like the inner work.
It's work. It's work.
It is, but it doesn't have to be hard work.
No, it doesn't have to be like, I don't see it as hard. I mean, just because I've experienced I've experienced what happens when I work on my mindset, when I'm aware of this wiring that I have.
Yeah.
And this inner conflict stuff. I've been through that too. And
Yeah.
I think that's a great point, because when you have an inner conflict like that, a lot of times it's because you see it, but there's a fear that's holding you back. There's some kind of anxiety or something. And it's good to like be aware of that and be like, because nothing changes unless we go through that discomfort of doing the thing that we know is in alignment with what we want.
Mm-hmm.
I'm you've heard this, like the desired outcomes on the other side of that hard, the other side of that discomfort, the other side of that challenge, because it's human nature for us to take the road least, the easy path, right? It's just easier. But yeah, I love that concept of like, or that idea that, yeah, we have an inner conflict. It's going like, we want one thing, but then we're doing this other thing that is really, so can we talk about, because I know we were going to talk about time management. And when we first got on this call, before we hit record, I found it really entertaining and interesting to discuss this idea that time management isn't really like what you want. Like tell us what your point of view when it comes to time management. Are we wanting time management? It's not the time management thing. I think we tend to manage our time because we understand what our values are. And
when you know what it is you want, why you want it, what it's going to do for you when you have it, time management no longer becomes a thing.
Right.
Because now you're not managing your time, because the way that you see things shifts. And when you see things differently, you take different action. When you take different action, you get different results. So time management is no longer a thing. Sure, you have to figure out how to like make things work into your new way of being. But at the same time, time is the fairest resource of all. There's time everywhere. And until you see time as different from I don't have enough, but what would it look like if I did?
Yeah.
Like, what would this whole situation be like? If I had all the time in the world, what would I do differently? A better question is, let's pretend, let's go out a year from now. You've met all your goals. You're doing the thing. You are it. You've done it all.
Yeah.
What does that person know that you need to learn?
Yeah.
And what can you do differently that she's already doing?
Yeah. That makes me think about the point that you just said, like, we can do all these things. Like, you could even have a to-do list. You can have your routine, all these things that we try to do if we don't understand this concept of what you value. Because I don't know about you, I'm imagining that this is for you too, but for myself, whenever I've come to a point in my life, in my business, in my everything that I do, where I don't have a to-do list, I don't have any of that. It's like instantly, if something comes into my path, I already have an answer. I already know, like, it's in me to know my values. It's in me to answer not correctly, but for my goals, what's in alignment for I don't have to worry about that. The day starts and I'm doing the things that are in alignment with my goals, are in alignment with it's not a to-do list. It's not forced. It's not on a planner. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, it's just living because I'm living the truth of who I am and my values.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the freedom when when we really realize all we have to do is become aware and do this. What do you want? What's it going to do for you? And what was the third? Oh, these are the three things. Do that again.
What do you want?
What do you want?
What is it going to do for you when you have it?
What's going to do when you have it?
And what's
stopping you from having it?
Mm-hmm.
Man, that is just like worth repeating over and over and over until it sinks in. Like, what do you want? What is it going to do for you when you have it?
Yeah.
What's the third one? Why do I keep on doing this?
What's stopping you from?
And what's stopping you? What's stopping you? What do you want? What's it going to do for you? And what's stopping you?
Yeah.
It's simple. It's simple.
We can go down a whole nother rabbit hole with the whole to-do list thing because I've got a very strong opinion on it.
I know. I don't. You know what? I do. I don't have a daily to-do list. This is what I do. This is funny. I will write down things that I need to eventually do. Eventually, like, so I don't forget. Like, yeah, that's eventually.
It's more of so I don't forget.
So I don't forget.
Like checking the boxes. It's like you're checking off things on someone else's priority list. And it's like it's for other people. It's like, wait a minute, aren't I the most important person in this body? And I'm checking off a to-do list for other people. It doesn't even make any sense. But I was that way once too.
And all of that, when we get into this place where we can just lean into our values and what we desire in our life, actually, it's going to serve us completely. And we are going to have a fulfilled life. And not only that, we are going to actually be showing up in a way that's going to serve everybody in our lives, everyone.
Yeah.
So it's
just changes really, really fast when you are on a track of, you're just on a success track and you know where you're going and you don't have any of these blocks that are blocking you and you just go. It's just like you got fire behind you. And that's what leads to so much more fulfillment in life. Is that you don't have all these things that are holding you back because you just know what it is you want and you're just going for it. And that's what I love most about the stuff.
Right. So like with a client we'll say they're struggling. Okay. They're struggling to put in the effort to plan their food, prepare their food in advance, struggling to get to the gym or even just do their home workout. They're not doing it. It's like they're resisting doing it. And that is because they haven't actually taken time to decide what they're valuing. And it's like an ongoing thing. And I want so badly, I want them to just be free. That's me wanting that for people. I can't do that for them, but just getting to that point where this doesn't have to be a fight. This doesn't have to be a struggle. This can be fun, relaxing, enjoyable. It's not, to me, whenever people go, working out is just hard. You just got to do it. It's like, what is this mindset behind that? The
Well,
reason I enjoy what I do is because I know that it's in alignment with how I want to feel and who I want to be.
yeah.
So I come
And
to my workouts excited and happy.
yeah, that's exactly it. It's like if you're using force to get yourself to do the things, that's a signal that something is not in alignment.
That is a signal. Yeah. Anytime we're feeling like there's friction and you feel this sort of way inside, that force, it's forced. You have to make it happen. It doesn't feel good.
It can be easy.
That's a signal.
Yeah. And like you mentioned resistance, and it's so interesting because what would happen if someone like someone wants to eat healthy, but they also value convenience. So they're going to the drive-through instead of making the meals at home. And that's resistance because you want to eat healthy, but you also value convenience.
Mm-hmm.
And so what most people do is they ignore the resistance, like, oh, I'll do better tomorrow, or I got to start over, or, maybe I don't want it bad enough. But when you actually listen to what the resistance is trying to tell you instead of push it away, it'll tell you that both sides of that resistance, I want the convenience and I also want to eat healthy, they'll tell you what both sides of that resistance actually wants. And one of the things that I do with my clients is I blend that resistance so that it acts as, it's like part of you wants one thing, part of you wants another, but they both have the same values. And so when they can see that they're both working towards the same goal, that resistance goes away. But what most people do is they're forcing themselves, they're pushing, they're like, everything is an uphill battle, but it doesn't have to be that way when you stop pushing against the resistance and you start listening to it and what it's trying to tell you instead.
And also like, because what you just said, what is it giving you? What is it that you're getting from it? You're getting something from it. Like why you're going through that drive-through, because you're getting the convenience.
Mm-hmm.
So when you recognize that, then this is the moment when you can say, wow, it's the convenience that I want. What can I do differently to still give myself the healthy foods, but conveniently? That's how we have to reconcile that, right?
Yep, exactly.
It seems simple. It's not complicated.
It's not complicated.
Why do people complicate it, Jen? Why do people complicate it?
Because they're not aware.
They're not aware. That's it.
Yeah. It becomes easy once you become self-aware. And the minute you're aware of it, you can change it. But
Absolutely.
unless you're aware of it, you're not going to be able to change it.
Yeah, right. I love this. This is such a great conversation. I could talk all day about this stuff, girl. I love this. And I'm like you. When I have a client that is struggling in an area, that's the kind of stuff I'm like, well, what? I'm thinking to myself, what is she getting from this? What is she getting? There's something she's getting from it.
Mm-hmm.
And that, whatever that is, needs to, first of all, let's become aware of it. And then how can we give that need? How can we meet that need in a way that's going to be in alignment with the goal?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Good stuff.
Yes. Good stuff. What do you want? Why do you want it? How is it going? If you get it, how's it going to make your life better? And what's keeping you from getting it? I'm not putting way too many words here. Let's just do it simple. Hey, did you say that was the exercise, right? That you walk people through, right? What do you want? What's it going to give you once you get it? And then what's stopping you?
Mm-hmm.
I said it simple that time.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, that's not it.
What if you go, no, I know, but what if you go, well, what's stopping me? That is the part. Like, what's stopping me?
Well, what's stopping you is you're going to spit out what it is that's in your way. And that's the sign, like that's your limiting belief. And so when you work with with my clients, when I work with the limiting belief, one of the things that I do is I trace that limiting belief. Like, where did that start from?
Right.
Odds are it started in childhood or maybe in the womb, before the womb, past lives, generational, all that stuff. We can go back and we could rewire where that belief came from, whose belief it actually is, and what you want to believe instead. And then we can change it.
Also, but Jen, that's not like that's real. Like that's actual science. That's scientific. What you're talking about. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's neuroscience. When you say in the womb, in the past, in generations, this really is science. It's backed by science.
Yeah. So people from generations back pass down their DNA to us.
Yes.
And it's like, how are you supposed to know that? You don't know that.
No, but that's great.
Nobody tells you that in the womb, but it's DNA. It's just all passed down.
Oh my goodness.
So someone that for instance, my father-in-law grew up during the Great Depression. And so what did he do? He saved everything. And
Oh,
so who
yes.
else saves? My husband saves everything. It's not because my husband doesn't have enough and he needs to save it all. It's because that's what he learned.
Right.
And so when we trace those things back into where that belief came from in the first place, and
Yeah.
we do the work to eliminate the limiting belief and change it to something that is going to serve us in a better way, that's when things get a heck of a lot easier. Oh my God,
Yeah.
so good.
No, that is very fascinating. It's in the genes. That's great.
Mhm.
Become
Yeah.
aware. Well, this has been great. I mean, now we could go on, and I don't want to keep on going. I want to respect your time. Um, what kind of last minute things you want to leave us with thought wise when it comes to, I mean, it was going to be a time management talk, but it's more
It's
like
not
just
time.
rewire your mind, people.
It doesn't have anything to do with time.
Because time management is a, what did you say it was? You
Time
said it was a,
management is a tool, but it's not necessarily going to change anything.
no.
And so when you rewire, it's like, you're cutting the lawn and you're cutting the lawn, but you're not pulling the weeds. It's like, why don't you just pull the weeds?
Hmm.
Otherwise, the weeds are going to grow back.
Right. We gotta address the actual, as a nurse, I think we have to address what is the condition,
The root.
what is the illness, not
Hmm.
just give it, medicine to
Yeah,
mask the symptoms, right? Got to get
exactly.
to the root of
Exactly.
it. Very cool, Jen. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Where can our people, our listeners, and everybody find you if they want to follow you on social media, or yeah, tell
Come.
us.
My hub right now is the gram. So come say hi on Instagram. I'm at the Jen Lemke.
Okay.
Not two these, just one the Jen Lemke.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. That's your
That's
hub,
it.
Jen
That's
Lemke.
that's where you can find me.
What else? Did you have anything else you want? You had like a something that you were going to share, or
I've got a
yes,
limiting belief
no?
workbook that would help. I'll be totally honest, it is geared towards business owners
Yeah.
and
Well, I know
some
there's some women that own
anybody
businesses on that listen. So
anybody else can use it. It's not only for business owners, but that's because that's primarily who I help. If you can use the guide and just change the words to, instead of business, change it to fitness, it's going to work
yes,
for you.
business
So
and fitness.
I'll send you the link, and you can download
Perfect.
the limiting belief workbook.
Very good. Jenny, thank you so much for
Thank
being here
you.
today, being our guest, and yeah, just appreciate you. And I will talk to you later. Thanks, girl. Rock on.
See ya. Bye.
Wait. Don't go. I have something exciting to remind you. We are doing Jumpstart again. Don't forget to sign up for my next free 7-day Rockstar Body Jumpstart Challenge. The link is inside of the show notes. Girl, this is your sign. If you have been wanting to do something, you don't know what to do, how to do it, and you want to get started on getting strong, building muscle, shedding the fat, losing the inches, and making this a lifestyle, I want to encourage you to come and join me for this free 7-day Rockstar Body Jumpstart Challenge. You will be inside of my Rock That Fitness app. You will have access to me as your coach for 7 days. I'm also going to be doing some live training during this 7 days to help you dial in your nutrition for your goals, and also help you understand what the heck is going on in your mindset, your habits, and your behaviors, so you can actually establish habits that are going to create your fit lifestyle, and you can hang on to the wonderful results you're going to get when you actually jumpstart and stay started. Um, I'd love to be a part of your journey. And it doesn't matter what your age is, doesn't matter where you're starting, if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, if you haven't worked out in a long time, I'm going to meet you right where you are, girl. Right now, it's up to you to take action. So go to the show notes, click on that Rockstar Body Jumpstart Challenge. We're going to be starting on March 31st. So we're running out of time. Get in here. And you will learn all that you need to learn. The link will take you straight there, answer all your questions of what this is all about, and then sign up. And if you have questions, girl, you can always ask me anywhere I'm at. Just send me a message, drop me a comment, send me an email, and let me know. I'm here for you. All right. I'm going to see you inside a Jumpstart with all these other ladies that have taken action already. We're already in there. Come and join us. Get your friends. Let's make this the biggest Rock That Fitness Rockstar party ever, for this spring, Rockstar Body Jumpstart Challenge. Let's go. Rock on.